think I've done it. I think I have the key. The key to Uncharted 4, Thieves' End. It's right here. This gold coin. Yeah, that's right. This gold coin is the key. It tells me right here. Yes, it tells me. Well, it tells me that it should be around here somewhere. So, let's take a look. Oh, yeah. I think I found something. There's got to be something good inside. Let's take a look. Oh, man. Yes, it looks good. Let's take a look and see what we've got. No. Not looking for that. That's his. Found a video game. Found one. Look. This isn't what we're looking for. Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures? No. Uncharted 4. There's some more. Found another one. No. Tomb Raider? Tomb Raider Definitive Edition? No. It's not what we're looking for. There's more. Here we go. Is this it? No. It's not it either. Okay, I think I see it, everybody. Finally. Uncharted 4, Thieves' End. This is the game we've all been waiting for. This is nothing like all those other games. I can't wait to play this thing. It's gonna be great. Oh. Obviously, there are others interested in this and they're looking for it too. Let's get out of here. Uncharted 4, A Thieves' End is finally here. This is an early impression / review video, and I have played through the first 8 missions and some multiplayer matches. And so far, I'm having fun, but to be honest with you, I'm not feeling the 10 out of 10 scores that have been going around. It's not that the game isn't good, it really is, but maybe it's just not the best ever. So let's start off with the graphics and the sound. Now this game is pretty. The sun, the sky, the trees and tall grass, everything moving and swaying in the wind. It is a really great way to show off your PS4. But the thing that I just can't figure out is for some reason they brought back the thing from the Order where you hold items and you twist them to look at it. And honestly, the large vistas look great and things like that in Uncharted 4, but the up-close items where you're actually holding them in your hand and twisting them, I think the graphics for that was actually better in the Order. The music here sounds great. Noise of the jungle and all of the sounds everywhere, they bring you really into the world with Nate, right? The guns, they sound big and they pack a punch. Overall, the sound is really awesome, all the way around. I also like that the movement of the characters is really fluid. The overall gameplay is smooth, and there's really not any tearing or bad graphical glitches. Okay, so overall the graphics and sound are great. This brings me to the next big topic, which is the story. And honestly, I feel that the story is pretty good if you wanted a very deep, The Last of Us type story in this game. And don't get me wrong, I loved playing The Last of Us, and I was on the edge of my seat till the end. But when it comes to Uncharted games, I personally don't really like all the long cutscenes and was really actually kind of bored by the first few levels, where this game seems to fall into a bit of a walking simulator, or should I say a climbing simulator. I mean, really, these kids here, they climb better than the guys on Ninja Warrior. The Drake brothers didn't want to get into a life of crime and finding artifacts. They could have had quite a career in the circus as acrobats.
No glory.
I mean, even Jackie Chan would have to say that some of these jumps are a little bit over the top. So, okay, we learn more and more about Nate and his brother Sam. But to me, the story of Sam kind of takes the shine off Nate. You know, I recently played some of the Nathan Drake collection to get ready for this. And in the older games, Nathan Drake is a super cool badass that is tough as nails and can get out of any situation. Kind of like a superhero. But here, when he's with his big brother, he's submissive and always is the one screwing things up while his brother reminds him that, I never miss.
Hey, got the door open. That was very loud.
He's kind of a Debbie Downer, to be honest with you.
Hopefully we just blend in with the other explosions. Look,
But I have to give it to Naughty Dog here because the best story cutscene so far has been at Nathan Drake's house, where he looks through some relics of the past games, which is pretty cool,
Is this it?
and even winds up playing some PS1 classic with his wife Elena.
This is
Now that is a cool touch, Naughty Dog. You even have to use the D-pad for this section. No analog for Crash 1.
no, just
Okay, so you want to run towards the camera.
Gotta love having some retro games right there in the
And
middle
the
of a
circle
current
button is your
AAA title
sprint
for the PS4.
Yeah, press X to jump.
which one's X?
Right thumb. Okay, run away from the boulder.
Okay, so that brings me to gameplay. Again, I'm about halfway through the story so far, and for me it really hasn't picked up. You know, the movement is smooth. Every now and then you get stuck trying to get into cover, and your guy doesn't quite want to go into cover where you want him to. But overall, the movement of your characters is pretty solid. The shooting is really fun. Very hectic and intense at times, but there are long periods of no combat. I mean, you don't really even get a gun till the 5th chapter. I kept playing and playing, it was over an hour. Maybe even more than that. And I'm wondering, when am I going to shoot somebody? Do I get a gun in this game or not?
Morning, boys.
They did have one cool addition to this game, which is stealth. There's now many ways to sneak up on enemies, and you can tag them from afar and plan out your perfect execution. This part is pretty fun. And in certain situations, you absolutely need to be stealthy, because once the bad guys see you, they are all over you in a heartbeat. Tons of them come out of the woodwork and start shooting at you, and usually that means you're going to be starting that section over. But there is a possibility that if you can fight back well enough, you may be able to make it out alive. So, that part of it's really fun. I really like the action, I really like the shooting. It's a great part of Uncharted 4. But there's just way too much downtime between the battles. All this climbing gets kind of repetitive. I mean, basically you just sit there and look for the crack or the block sticking out or the obvious ledge that is a little bit different from the rest of the wall, and you jump from spot to spot to spot. That was really cool back in the day when the first Uncharted was around, but by now we've done this a million times. They did throw in an extra thing in the climbing, which is the rope that you can throw. You can throw this even in mid-jump, which is really cool. You swing to the next spot to grab, and that really makes for some fun and visually cool moments. I really like the addition of the rope. And the last part of Uncharted 4 that I tried is the multiplayer. It's not bad, but it feels like this is going to wind up being another game where there are a lot of unlocks and little perks and visual customizations. I mean, there's really only 3 modes right now for multiplayer. You have your team deathmatch, pretty standard, and then there's also a ranked team deathmatch. So after you play it enough times, you can unlock the ranked team deathmatch and do that. But really, it's team deathmatch. Then they have Command. Command is basically a control point type game. There's 3 control points. You have to fight to get those, and as long as you hold those points, you get score, and the first team to get the correct score is the winner. Another pretty common multiplayer mode. Nothing really new. And then the third one is called Plunder, which is really just capture the flag. And the map that I played on really has this choke point right in the middle. No matter whether you're trying to score or defend, everything sort of happens in that same spot over and over and over again. But overall, the multiplayer is a fun diversion from the main game, but I don't think it's anything that's going to replace other online shooters. So that brings me to the last thing. The last thing that I was really a bit disappointed by was that even though this game had been delayed a bunch of times and worked on for what seemed like an eternity, they still had to have a huge day 1 patch. followed by microtransactions for multiplayer. I mean, yeah, the microtransactions are really only for those who want all the little funny unlocks and stuff, but I also noticed that there's not a season pass, but they're calling it a triple pack. Might as well call it a season pass. For $25, this is something you buy now for future content that hasn't been released yet. Sounds a lot like season pass. There's going to be one single player story mode add-on and 2 multiplayer packs. You know, perhaps these multiplayer packs will add to the basic 3 modes that you get with the game. I don't really know. And then, of course, the single player story mode. What is that going to be? Anyways, I think everyone out there is getting a bit tired of all the nickel and diming that we get from the AAA games these days. And I'm here to tell you that I really am. And I'm pretty sure everybody else is too. So, Uncharted 4 so far is a good entry in the series. I would not say it's the best game of the series, but it looks great and it plays great. I personally wish there was more action and a lot less storytelling and walking and climbing sections, but the addition of stealth is great, and the multiplayer is okay for a fun distraction for a while. If you're looking for a very deep, The Last of Us type story in Uncharted, you're going to like this game. If you were a fan of the early games, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, where they had a lot more action in battles, you would move from one action sequence right into a battle and then back into more action and more battles. This game here is way slower. The pace of Uncharted 4 is much, much slower, and you might find yourself saying that you wish it would just hurry up and get to the good stuff, kind of like I did. Now, there's a lot of review scores out there giving this thing 10 out of 10, and I think high review scores are justified for the overall quality of the game, but I just don't think it's 10 out of 10 material. However, it is a very good game. I'm hoping that maybe the second half of the game is more of what I personally like in Uncharted games, but I can also see where some people would really love the slow pace and the story of Uncharted 4. So I hope this early impression review has given you some insight into the first half of the Uncharted 4 A Thief's End game. Please let me know down in the comments what you think, and maybe I'll update this video later after I finish the game if something suddenly jumps out at me that makes me think that this is 10 out of 10. But for now, I'm going to say it's a solid entry, a very good game. Some people might absolutely love it, but I think there's a few people out there who are going to be slightly disappointed by the slow pace of this thing. It just feels a little bit less like an Uncharted game than some of the other ones. So till next time, remember, you never outgrow video games. My name is Chad the Gaming Dad, and this is Dad's Games. Thanks again for watching, and so long, everybody.